first step is how we're gonna plan. And the first thing you have to ask yourself, how much you're gonna draw. And that apply to not only the portrait, anything you want to do, like a still life, landscape, you have to plan on what you're gonna draw in order to go to the next step is how you're going to lay out on a page. Draw it really roughly. Keep it a little free from details. Now I'm going to draw a little bit darker, and including a little bit more shape. I'm not quite sure yet. I try to make up my mind. And I still can change it to go the other direction if I want. But you just try to make up your mind. That's just the first step. Try to get an idea on the page. Or maybe I'm gonna move the whole thing a little bit more to the left and also make the face a little bigger. And have the hair coming drip down from the side. It's kind of interesting. And in that case, everything will become a little lower. No, I want to go back to make it a little smaller because I want to feel a little bit more space. So you can go back and forth to make up your mind. Using a vine charcoal at the beginning it gives you more freedom to change really easily. Now I'm setting my mind, okay, this is what we're gonna do, what I'm gonna do. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna, knowing this is the space for the face, now I'm gonna roughly divide it into the big masses blocking out the shape from the top to the chin, the half of the space. And then coming down here, there's the eyebrows. And there's the eye. And there's the nose. From the eyebrows to the nose, a little bit longer than the nose to the chin. This is correct. And this is almost like from the middle, from the left to the right. So I'm going to keep that. I have to move the nose line to a little bit more to the right. And that just look like the area for the eyes. And look at the eye cannot be a little too wide because that is just the nose. It's up to this point, you have to think about there's a triangle over here, the corner of the two eyes. And then I'm going to plan on where's the corner of the mouth. And then keep moving forward. And then I'm planning the hair on this side and then the ears about here. When you're looking at one thing, I want you to squint your eyes so that you focus on just finding that particular information. And this is the ear, at that. And I'm gonna have a little fuzzy the hair coming out from the back. So try to capture my initial feelings. And then the left side is about that. And then come down to the neck. And nothing is concrete or solid in shape yet. It just get my feeling start from, this is the neck over here, coming down this way. And when you're looking at here, look at here, connect to the corner of the mouth. And then the shoulder, and then coming, and here you go. Get a part. At the beginning of the drawing, you want to keep it open. Keep it a little rough, keep it a little loose. And the hair coming down over here to break the shoulder line. And I want to think about what I'm going to do with the background. This side of the face definitely very light, so I want the background to be a little darker. After I shaded one side of the face to be darker in the shadow, and you can see that the light side of the face will pop. And on this side also shade it a little bit darker. When you're shading the background, you don't have to make it too even. If you have some texture, you might want to keep it because it's just the way you might want it. Now almost I make the whole page to the middle tone. Because first I need to making sure I have the light focus on one side of the face. Now I'm going to start cleaning up the light side. I mentioned about eraser. It's not about correcting mistake. Eraser is part of the drawing process. Create a light shape, and the charcoal create a dark shape, and the dark shape and the light shape, that's how it composed the whole to compose the whole picture. Now I have the light side up there. This is also have a little light shape over here. As you can see, one eye in the light side, one eye in the shadow side. On the neck over here, this side, a little light. And the other way to approach it, when you see any objects, or including a person, you want to see as shapes instead of seeing things by name. Like I'm going to draw the nose, I'm going to draw the neck. Now you're drawing shapes. Shapes has an area, has different value. Focus on the shapes and make it simpler. So I'm going to put in some darker value into a part of the area, like the shadow over here on the shoulder. Make it a little darker. And some little shape, some shape on this side. I think this is good. I need to make this a little softer. And then the next thing, I just lay out the whole compositions with value. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to add in some details into the smaller areas and divide the big shape into smaller shape. We'll come into, this is the area for the eyebrows. It's just putting some basic details. And on this side, when you see the left side of the eyebrows, you want to think about the right side on the other side of the eyebrows, how they connect together. And now I'm going to come to the nose ridge. That should be a little bit apart, this eye. A little softer on the edge. So there's another thing that we need to thinking about, that every shape has edge, and how the edge look like. It's a soft edge, a hard edge, a smooth transitions. Now coming into the nose, and this eye a little bit too high, so moving a little bit lower. And I have another small shape underneath the eye. Now I'll come down to the nose here. I need to fine tune the shape underneath the nose and above the nose here. It has a highlight. I can fine tune that shape, and it has a smaller shape over here. So it's putting that little shape over here, and then right underneath. Now from what I'm drawing here, it looks the eye is actually too wide, and maybe too big. So I'm gonna fine tune it, change that, and maybe the nose should be a little longer. It looks like the nose can be a little longer. And then come down here, there's another small shape. So after you take care of the big shape, and you can easily come down to a smaller shape, because smaller shapes within the big shape. If you haven't finished lay out the big shape, and you impossibly can be able to take care of the small shape. Okay. When you do the corner of the mouth, you relate to the corner of the nose. When you do the corner of the nose, and actually you relate to the corner of the eyes. They are all like a one step at a time to lay out as the guideline for the next step. We're going to develop some smaller shape in the shadow side after we're taking care of the bigger shape between the light side and the shadow side. Okay, now coming to this side. I come up to the hair. Making the background a little bit lighter. Now I can create a difference between the shoulder and the background. And that looks not too bad. And the background over here too, I'm not sure, the shoulder should be a little higher. Okay, I'm gonna define a little bit the light shape on the clothing. But keep in mind this side actually the shadow, it catch the shadow. Okay. Now the ear look a little bit lighter. So when you see the shape, you want to actually add, you want to make the shape lighter or darker compared to the whole portrait and also compared to the surrounding area, versus compared to the whole drawing is the big, compared to the surrounding is the local relationship. Now I want to come back to fine-tune, refine the details on the face, and the forehead needs to be a little bit bigger, a little bit darker. I'm going to make the forehead a little bit darker, actually in the shadow. So I'm going to come in here. And on the corner of this mouth, there's a small triangle. And there's another triangle on this side of the lip. I think this a little clear. And the corner over here, there's take out a little dark value. And here I have a little lighter. And I can make the nose a little bit darker in order for me to have to getting the highlight. I have a little highlight over here by using the eraser to create a highlight. And this area is a little bit darker, on a darker tone. I'm gonna just use my finger to move the charcoal into this area. And this is the highlight. I'm gonna have a little lighter, but it's just not, it looks like this can be a little darker. Like I'm moving some charcoal powder, I'm moving into this area. And also this is a little darker too. And this can be a little darker. Sometimes you can use your hand or the blending stump. You can moving the value around to moving into the small area to refine that the details. Okay, and the corner of this, and a very smooth coming down. And this is probably a little too much transition, too much difference, too much distraction at this point. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smoother, but on the cheek on this side, it's a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna take out some of the powder and just use my finger, tap on it to make it a little lighter, and define this as a triangle, also a little lighter, but it's not going to be as light as the light side, like that. So by thinking about as a shape, what is the light shape, what's the dark shape, how light is it, and how dark is it? Smooth transitions, okay. In this space here, it has a little lighter. So when you compare the lighter, you compare to the local, but also important, you compare to the whole portrait. It's light, but it's not the lightest point in the whole drawing. And now I'm going to come into inside the eye over here. I think it's the eye a little bit too large, the area. I'm going to take out some of the value on the light side of the eyelid. And this is the shadow side of the eyelid. Get into the details for a little while, and then you look at the whole drawings again, how to balance it. Now I'm thinking about that, I'm going to make this a little darker for a couple purposes. One is I want to make the background a little bit more dynamic. Second thing, it will help me to describe the hair a little better. The background here with the hair is very close value. So I make the hair actually look a little bit more pushed to the background. That's too light in the whole drawing. It may be look okay compared to the local. So I'm gonna have this highlight on the hair. And some hair coming down on the face. Yes. And put light up some small shape to describe the hair coming down from the top onto the dark colors of the clothing. And as the hair coming down over here, you also need to have catch the shadow, which is created by the hair onto the face. Now come down to the neck. I'm going to separate into the shadow side, the light side. And I come down over here, you can see that this side needs to be darker because it have a little curve on that. You can describe that by applying, separate that, the light side into the shadow side. And this also have a catch the shadow, and you can see that as a shape. Starting from a big shape, and smaller shape. But every step, and go back to the big shape and reorganize things. There's lots of decisions that you have to make in this whole process. And every step you have to make the decisions.